includes
Nesse vídeo, você vai aprender.
Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to start a new session. It's about the JavaScript loops. So in JavaScript, they have the multiple loops options like as a for loop, while loop, do while loop, for in loop, and also for off loop. So step by step, I will show everything with the live example. Now let's start it with the for loop. So first of all, I want to clean everything. Okay, I simply clean everything from our index.js. And I name it as that will be for the loops. Okay, that will be for the loops. So why you should use that loop? Like if you want to print the same value multiple times, then we can do that work by using that loops. Better I show you with some of the live example, then that will be very clear to you. Like I want to run that console log, and into the console log area I want to pass one of the value as a high aryan. Okay, I simply write down as a high aryan. And now if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display as a high aryan. So now if you want to add that multiple one, if you want to add that 4 times, then what exactly you have to do? Then we have to print it for the 4th time as a 2, 3, 4, right? And now if you click as a save all, then that will be display as a 4th time. Now I want to do this work with using that loops. How much easily we can do that work, I show you. For doing this, first of all, we have to add that as a for loop. So that is a for. Okay, and into the for loop area, first of all, I want to take one of the initialize variable. I like as a let, I name it as an index. Okay, I name it as an index. That is initialize one of the variable, like from where that will be started. So into this here, I want to initialize with the 1 value. Okay, so that will be started from the 1. And after that, I want to do how many times that means this loop will be load. I want to make it as a for the 4th time. So in our index, so into this index area here, that will be less than or equal the 4th time. So for the reasons here, I use it as a 4. Okay friend, I hope it's very clear. And then how many times it will be increment? So here I want to increment it. Okay, and you can also increment it, you can also decrement it. So if you want to increment our value, so that will be our initialized variable. With this variable, I want to increment it with our increment operator as a plus, so that will be automatically incremented. Okay, so that means our this index will be incremented. Perfect. Now that's all we have to do. Now that is our index. First of all, I initialize one of the index variables. So there is the index variable that will be started from to the 1, and index that will be less than or equal 4. That means the 4th time that will be print, and it will be incremented 1 1. So for the reasons here, I am actually using our incremented operator as a plus. I have already discussed about that things with you. Now here in our curly bracket, I want to load our this part. Whatever the statement you want to display, you have to display it in here. So that is very much basic things. Just simply understand how that for loop actually work. So right now I'm simply pass it in here. Now for the first time that will be as a 1, then for the 4th time that will be printed, and automatically that will be incremented 1, and then it will be recycling again. There's a 2, and then 3, and then that will be the 4. Okay, now let's check this out. I want to remove it right now. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, you can see now it's perfectly display as a 4 times that is actually printed in here. So if you want to display that things into the line area, then you have to do our this variable, that is our initialized variable. Here we have to pass it in here. I simply pass it. Now that should be displayed in line. Click as a save all. If you go click as a refresh, now you can see there is a high aryan 1, 2, 3, and then 4. I hope friend it is very much clear to you. You can see here I initialize with the 1, and that is our maximum will be as a 4. For the reasons it is now display as a 4. If you want to make it as a 5, then that will be print as a 5 times. Now go there, click as a refresh, you can see automatically incremented 1. Okay, and also if you want to do the same things for the decrement, then what exactly you have to do? I simply copy it and then paste it. So then our first initialize will be started from our which one? First initialize will be as a 5, right? So I simply added that as a 5, and index will be what? Index will be as a greater than right now, greater than or equal, right? Greater than or equal as a 1. and that will be not that incremented, that will be as a decremented operator as a minus minus, right? And then that will be display as a high array and index will be same. Now let's check this out. Click as a save all. Now that should be displayed as a high array 5 and then 4 3 2 1. If you now go click as a refresh, yes, you can see it's now successfully displayed as a high array 5 4 3 2 1. Okay friend, I hope you get some of the idea about that for loop, how that for loop actually work, and why we should use that for loop in project. We'll use it a lot of the time. That will be very much helpful. In our next video, I'm going to discuss about another loops in JavaScript, that is a while loop. How can working with the while loop? I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that for loop, right? Now in this video, I'm going to discuss about another one that will be as a while loop. Okay, I make it as a while loop. So while loop and for loop, it will be just like that same. Only they have the different statement view. Better I want to show you that things with the live example. Right now for the decrement, I remove it, and that is our incremented. I have already discussed about that things with you. If you click as a save all, now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display as a high array for the 5 time, right? Now I want to do the same thing with using that while loop. Then our structure will be little bit different, or rather than everything will be just like that same. So if you want to use that while loop, first of all, here we have to use that as a while. First of all, I name it as a while keyword. So that is our while keyword, and here we have to do, before we add that our initialize value into the for each loop first bracket area. So here you have to initialize it outside of this while loop. That means outside of this our while keyword. First of all, here we have to initialize it. Okay, and then first of all I initialize it, then I set up how many times that this loop will be run, right? So that is our conditions. This condition, well, now we have to add it in here. Okay, into the while area, here we have to add it. And after that, in our second bracket, that is in our curly bracket area, here we have to print that console mode. That will be just like that same. Here I name it as a hi Kazi. Okay, I name it as a Kazi. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So now that will be the same, and after that, here what exactly I have done that incremented operator rather than the decremented operator, right? So for in our while loop area, here we have to incremented or decremented after this our console. After this console, here we have to simply add it. So friend, that is the simple different statement for the while loop. I hope it's very much clear to you. So that is for the for loop, and that is for the while loop. And now if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, you can see that is also the same as a high Kazi 1, Kazi 2, 3, 4, and then 5. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. Simply understand all that functionality. So that is a for loop. When you working with this for loop, that will be just like that. And when you working with the while loop, our first initialize or index variable, here I pass one value, and then that is actually our condition, how many times this loop will be run, and that is our print area. And here after that console, here we have to add that our operator for the incremented or for the decremented. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. In our next video, I'm going to discuss about another loop, that is for the do while loop. Okay, how can working with this do while loop? I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that while loop, right? So now in this video, I'm going to discuss about another loop, that is the do while loop. So why you use that while loop and why you should use that do while loop? So in this video, everything will be more clear to you. Like first of all, I want to run one of the while loop. Right now for loop, we don't need this. I just simply remove it. So that will be just like our this while loop, only they have some of the structural different. I show you like for the while loop, what exactly I have done. First in our while keyword, before this while keyword, I simply initialize our value, right? Now I want to do the same things like here, that will be also needed. That is a late. I want to initialize with another variable name as a service. Okay, this type of one of the service, and I initialize with the 1. And then that will be as a do keyword, and into this do keyword area, here we have to add that curly bracket. Into this curly bracket area, that will be the same our index, and then index, but I copy both of this and I paste it. That means our console log that will be print. Now that is our name as a service, so that will be a service, and this service will be as a incremented with 1 right. That is our incremented operator, and then that is one of the condition, right. So now this condition will be in our while area, that is a do and then the while. Okay, that is our do while, and into this do while area here I want to add this condition. Okay, here that will be our condition. So into this condition area, that is our initialized value as a 1, and this initialized value will be as a less than or equal to 5. That means for the 5 time this will be run, right. Now if you click as a save all, I make it as a hi Udemy. Okay, I make it as a hi Udemy. Now click as a save all. Now refresh it. Now you can see that is the same result as a hi Udemy 1 2 3 4 5, right. Perfect. So what exactly the difference between both of these? I show you here what exactly I have done. First of all, I initialize with the index 1, right, and then in our while loop area, that is our condition. But here right now, if you want to make it as a 100, then this condition is not appropriate, right. That is not that less than or equal to 5, because that is 100. So then that will be print nothing. I show you, like if you click as a save all, and now if you go here, now click as a before it's display as a hi Kazi for the first time. Now click as a refresh. Now you can see it's not print anything. Okay, here it's not print anything. But in our do while loop area, here if you want to make it as a 100, okay, if you want to make it as a 100, for the first time that will be load. Okay, I show you, like is a save all, go there, click as a refresh. Now you can see it's now showing as a hi Udemy 100. That means our first initialized value is printed, right. And if you want to add that how many times, that means this condition, here I want to load this our console log again. Okay, after that I load this console log, and into this console log area here I want to pass out this service. Okay, now everything will be more clear. Now click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now display as a 101. That means that is our 100, and then automatically it's incremented. That means our first all that whatever the things we will be do in here, that will be run, and after that will be check our condition. Okay, when this condition is, you can see this condition is not appropriate, because here I have already put that our service value as a 100, but in our service I name it as a less than or equal 5. So this condition is not perfect, but is also printed that value, right. You can see it's printed that value. That means our this statement is working, and then after that is actually break it. Okay, but here for the first time when it will be checked in our while area, when this condition will be not appropriate, then that is break it in here. For the reasons it's not printing anything. Okay, for the reasons you can see hi Kazi, those here they have no hi Kazi. Because of all our condition is not appropriate, it's break our total loop in here. But in do while loop area, that will be run minimum for the 1 time. Okay, so that is the actually difference between both of these as a while and then do while. I hope friend you get some of the idea about the do while loop, and also what is the difference between the while loop and the do while loop. I hope it's very much clear to you. In our next video, I want to discuss about that for in loop. I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about the do while loop, right? So before all that our loops like as a for loop, while loop and the do while loop, our structure is same, right? Before we initialize one of the value and we put some of the condition and then we print it, and after that we incremented this with the plus operator rather than decremented. So now friend, in this video I want to discuss about another loop that will be for the for in loop. Okay, for and then in, for in loop. So how can working with this for in loop? With this for in loop you can actually display any key object. But I show you, then everything will be more clear. Like first of all I want to take one of the object. Okay, I want to take one of the constant object and I name it as a object. Okay, I name it as a objects. So this type of one of the variable, and here I want to take one of the object, and into this object area what exactly we have to do, we have to add that one of the key or the property and then the value, right? I name one of the property name as a name, and for the name I name one of the value, or value I make it as a Aryan. Okay, I make it as a Aryan. Great. And also I take another one as a age, and for this age I name another value, and that will be as a number value, I make it as a 40. Okay friend, I simply added both of this in here. So that is our object, and that is our object key, and this key related our value, or you can also say it as a property and then our this property value, right? And now I want to do to run it. So if you want to run it, that will be as a for loop. So that is our for, and after that for our initialized value, so I make another late and I just name it as a key. Okay, here first of all you have to add that as a key. So here it doesn't mean that you have to use it as a key. You can use whatever the name actually you choose. So for now education purpose I'm using that key, and after that will be as a for, and then in. Okay, in our variable, that is our object name. Our object name I name it as a object. Okay, I simply add it, and now with this we can actually get all that our key. I show you, like I just make it as a console, and then our log, and into this console log area I want to first of all check our key. Okay, so this key means that is all that our object property. It should be get all that property. Okay, I show you. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now perfectly get our property. That means our object, all that property as a name and then age. You can see that is a name and then age. And also if you want to get that our this property, all that value, you can also get it. We can get it with this here. So that is a key, and into this key area here I want to do the comma. Okay, with comma, and then our object name I name it as the objects, and then the square bracket, and into this square bracket area here I want to pass our this key value. Okay, I simply pass it in here. Now that should be also display our value. If you now click as a save all, now if you go click as a refresh, you can see it's now successfully displayed the name as Aryan and age as a 40. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. And also you can do if you want to display that array number, you can also display it. Okay, I show you, like here then I take one of the variable as a number. Okay, I take one of the variable as a number or numbers, and then I want to pass one of the array value as a 1, and then 2, 3, and then 4 and 5. Okay, so that is our all that array value. And now I want to print it. So if you print it, that is a console, into the console log, and into this console log if you simply print out this number, then that will be display all that our array value number, which I have already discussed about that things with you before. If you now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, you can see it's now display all that our array number. So here also we can actually get this our key, that is all that our key, and that is our all that value. You can also get this by our this for in loop. I show you, like here there is a 0 1 1 2 2 for the 3, and then 3 for the 4, and for the 4, right? So that is our index, and then that is our value. I want to do simply get this and same things by our for in. If you want to do that work, that will be as a for, right? And then our for in, I want to take on the variable as the late, I name it as index. Okay, I name it as index in our numbers. So that is our numbers. I simply pass it in here. Okay friend, and then what exactly we have to do, we have to print it. That means we have to console, into the console log area here. If you pass these numbers, okay, if you pass these numbers, I want to pass this number, then what exactly that will be display. If you click as a save all, and now if you go, okay, if you go, and now if you refresh it, not this one, you can see that will be obviously as index, right? So that is our index here. I have already taken it in our for index and then the numbers, and I want to print out this index. So into this index area we should get all that our key. If you now click as a save all, now refresh it, yeah, you can see it's now perfectly all that our key. So that is actually our key 0 1 2 3 4, and now you can see it's now successfully get that as 0 1 2 3 4. And now I want to get our this value. Okay, this value will be same here, that will be just like that same. I take it with this numbers, right? So into this index here, that is a numbers, and then our square bracket here I want to pass our this index key value. So I simply pass it. So now that should be also get our this array all that value. Now if you click as a save all, and now refresh it, you can see for the 0 that is our value 1, for the 1 that is a 2, 2 for the 3, 3 for the 4. That means that is all that our key, and that is all that our value. So you can also get this by from to the object. You can also get it all that array data. Okay, perfect. I hope you friend it's very much clear to you. Just simply understand, it is very basic, all the things. Just simply understand why I'm actually using that for and for in, okay, and how can actually get all that our key value, that means the key our property and property value, how can get all that value and how can print it. Just simply get some of the idea from here. Laterally we'll use it in our project. Okay friend, and in our next video I want to discuss about another look like things as a for of loop. How can working with this for of loop, I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video I have discussed about that for in loop. Now in this video I want to discuss about that for of loop. So what exactly the difference between a for in loop and then for of loop? Into the for in loop, right now I want to do and to better remove it. Okay, I remove it and simply I take it. So friend, before here I take all that our array data, take the things with this variable, and here if you use it into the for in loop, and here first of all we have to start it with the index set, right? Here we take it into the index area, and into this index area first of all we get all that our key, and then we get that value. But if you use that as a for of loop, you get directly all that value. Some of the time you may need only that value. We don't need any key. Right before, you can see I have actually get that as all that key, and then this key related all that value I get it. Right now I want to do, I don't want to get this key, I only get that value. So if you want to get it, you can do that work with using that for of loop. So our structure will be just like that same. Here only you have to do that it was a for, and then there is a let, I name it as a number. Okay, I name it as a number, and number of, okay, number of our numbers. Before I use it as a in, so now that will be as a numbers. Okay, so now with this for of we will get everything. I show you, we will get all that our value. So now into the console, and into the console log, into this console log area, before when I use that as index, then what exactly it's get this data? It's before it's get that all that our key data, right? But here when you use that as a for of, it will be get that our value data. Okay, before I get that as index data, index means I get that all that our key data, but right now when you use that as a for of and with these numbers, okay, that means with this number, now if you want to print it, like here I print it, then everything will be more clear. Click as a save all. Now that should be get only that our value data. Okay, now if you click as a refresh, now you can see it's not perfectly get that value data. I hope friend it's very much clear. So before when I use that as index with our for in, and right now I want to do and to remove it. Okay, then everything will be more clear. Now click as a save all. So when you use that as a for in, it will be get all that our key data. Right, you can, if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh, you can see it's not get all that our key. But when you want to get that value data, then that will be as a for of, and for the for of here I pass that our number. You can see it's not perfectly get all that our value. I hope you get some of the idea what exactly that main difference between for in and for of. In short, for the when you use that as a for in, you will get all that your key data, that means your property data, and when you use that as a for of, you will get all that your property related value data. Okay, so there is the simple things. I hope it's very much clear to you. In our next video, I'm going to discuss about that break and hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that for of loop. Right now in this video, I want to discuss about another two of this keyword. One is the break. And another will be as a continue. Okay, continue. How can working with this? In this video I will show you that things with the live example. For doing this, I want to do and to run one of the for each loop. That means the for loop. Better I want to close it. Okay, close it, and then I close it. I simply close it. And that is our for loop. And into this for loop area, what exactly I have done before, I take one of the variable and I name it as an index. And right, I index, that means our initialized value here we have to set. So I set that initialized value as a 1. Okay, that will be for the 1 initialized value. Great. And then that will be as a condition. So I make it as index our condition. I want to do and to make it as a, that will be as a less than and equal to 20. okay, less than and equal 20, and then it will be incremented. It will be, that means this index will be incremented with our plus plus operator. So now I simply run it. That means automatically one by one that will be incremented. So now if you print it, that is a console log as index. If you now click as a save all, and now that should be print as a 20 time. Now click as a refresh. Now you can see it's now successfully run as a 1 2 3 to 20, which is totally fine. So now if you want to break it, like here after that 9 or after that 10, if you want to break some of the breakpoint in here, then how can do that work? For doing this, you have to do simply, you have to add one of the condition, another if condition, and into this if condition area I want to do when our index, when this index will be equal 10, okay, but 10 or 9, whatever you choose. So I make it as a 10, and after the 10 I want to make it as a break. Okay, so that will be as a break keyword. I simply loaded this break keyword. That means right now that after that 10, then when that will be as equal 10, then that will be break in here. Okay, now if you click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh. Now you can see after that 9, and then that is actually break in here. And better if you cart it, I cart it, and after that I paste it. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see it's now successfully after the 10, that is actually break in particular that position. Great. And now our another keyword as a continue. Okay, I hope it's very much clear to you. That is started, that is our initialized value as a 1, and I make it as a 20. So if you want to break some of the line, then I just put on the if condition when our this index will be as equal 10, then that will be break. You can see after here it's not display our 20 result, but it's after the 10, that is our break. Okay, that means our this total loop is break. Great. And now if you want to work with the continue means actually if you want to escape some of the line, like here I want to escape that 9. Okay, 9 value I want to escape, or 8 value I want to escape. So if you want to escape it, you can escape it with our this continue keyword. I show you for doing this. Better I want to do, but I take it again, I cart it, and then in our this console here I want to paste it. Okay, and then I want to make it as a 10. After the 10, when it should be as equal 10, I want to use our another keyword as a continue keyword. Continue. Okay, continue keyword. So into this continue keyword I simply add it, and now that is a console. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, and now you can see that is a 9, and after that 9 there is a 10 is not visible in here, and then after that is actually continue as 11 12 13 to 20. Okay, I hope you get some of the idea how you working with the break and then continue. So friend, just simply remember, okay, when you use that break, what exactly that continue keyword, how can deal with it. Literally we'll do a lot of work with this, but right now simply understand that how if you want to break some of the loop, how you can break it with the break keyword. If you want to escape some of the specific line, and after that if you want to continue, then you can use that our continue keyword. Okay, I hope it's very much clear to you. In our next video, I'm going to discuss about that infinite loops. How can working with these infinite loops, I will show you that things with a live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about the break and then continue. I hope you get some of the idea how that break keyword work and why we should use that continue. I hope you get some of the idea. So now friend, in this video, I want to discuss about one of the infinite loop, which is very important. One of the things, like I make it as an infinite loop. Okay, infinite loop. What exactly infinite loop? Like that is one of the condition. Okay, like in our for each, that is our for loop. Into the for loop area, I started with the 1, initialized value 1, and they have actually our condition, right? I make it as a right now as a 5 times, and then that will be incremented by 1 by 1. Now if you click as a save all, now that should be print as a for the 5. Like you can see it's successfully print as a 5. Great. But if you actually remove this condition, okay, if you remove this condition, or rather than if you want to, if you miss that incremented value, then that will be fall into the infinite loop, because there have no condition. Always it will be incremented 1 2 3, and your browser will be little bit slow. Like I show you, if you click as a save all, now that is infinite. If you go, because they have no condition where exactly that will be stopped, that means when our this loop will be stopped, then that will be infinite. Like if you now click as a refresh, now you can see it's infinitely incremented. That will be no condition, it's incremented one by one, and that will be infinite. So make that sure you always use that in one of the condition, and also if you remove it, then that will be also as infinite. Your PC will be very slow if you use it. You can see this is still working. So here we have to actually remove it. You can see my PC is already become slow. Okay, my PC is already become slow. Better I want to remove it. That means I want to close this application rather than that will be infinite. And also I want to better save it again. Click the save all, and now I want to do, you can see it's become hang. You can see I have to actually stop it and I have to run it again, and that is our index. I want to go again our live server, so that is our live server. Perfect. I want to run it again, inspect, and then I want to go particular our console, so that is a console. Now I want to refresh it, yeah, you can see it's now 5 times, which is totally fine because here I have already added that 5. Okay, so I hope you get some of the ideas. When they have no condition, that means it will be always incremented. Okay, will be always incremented, and also if you remove this, that will be also fall into the infinite loop. So always make that sure you add that your condition, okay, rather than you have to actually close your browser and just restart your project again. I hope, friend, you get some of the idea. Okay, now you can see it's now displays a 5 times, which is totally fine. In our next video, I want to discuss about that nest loop. Okay, what exactly that mean. In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. Hello, friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that infinite loop. Now I want to discuss about that nest. Okay, nest loop. There is a nested loop. Perfect. So what exactly that means? That means like there is our for loop, right? Here I want to like that is index. Okay, I better name it as aryan, and that is our aryan initial value as a 1, and then I want to make it as aryan. That will be our condition. That will be as a for the 5 times this loop will be run, and then or make it as a 3. Okay, I make it as a 3. That means for the 3 times that will be run, right? And that is our operator. That means here that will be incremented 1 by 1, and into the console log area I want to load out this variable as a aryan. So now if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's now print as a 3 times, which is totally fine. So what exactly that nested loop? Nested loop means here into the for loop area, here if you want to load another for loop, then that will be as a nested loop. I just want to do here, I want to take another for. Okay, I take another for, and into this for area I take another variable. I initialize with the kazi. Okay, kazi, and I initialize with the 1. Into the for loop I want to add another for loop in here, and also the same condition I make it as a kazi, and that will be also less than or equal 3. Okay, equal 3. Then I want to make it this kazi will be automatically incremented by 1. So that is auto incremented. Okay, and here I want to print our this kazi. Like here I want to cart it, and then I paste it, and now I want to print our kazi. So what exactly that will be in here? Here that will be actually for the first time that I want to add some of the comment out. Okay, there is a comment, and then comment ended. There is a Easter and then hyphen. Okay, great. So here what exactly it should be like for the first time, that will be started from the 1, right? So that will be started from the 1 for the aryan. That means our aryan value will be as a 1. Then that will be redirected to our another for loop, our kazi will be started by the 1. That means then that will be as a 1. Okay, and after that it should be not redirected to our first for loop, it should be redirected to our again here. Okay, that means this loop will be run again. That means that will be again as a 1, and then our this kazi value will be as a 2, and then again that will be as a 1. That means our first one will be stable, and then that will be again loaded as a 3. Okay, that means our this kazi will be as a 3, and after that this loop will be stopped. Right, after that this loop will be stopped. Again it should be redirected to our first loop, and into this first loop now that will be as a 2. Okay, then that will be as a 2, and again that will be loaded. That means then again it should be as a 1, sorry, then that will be the 1, and then again the 2, and then that will be value as a 2, and then the 2, and then that will be the 3, right? Again our this loop will be stopped, and then that will be redirected toward this one, that means our first loop, then that will be as a 3, and then our again that this loop will be started as a 1. Okay, sorry, that will be as a 1. I hope you get some of the idea. So that is the nested loop. Like if you check it, click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, so it's display only our Kazi value. Here also I want to display that our Aryan. Okay, so that means here first of all I want to display the Aryan, and then I want to display our this Kazi. Okay, now that should be very clear. Now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yes, you can see a same. So that is the same will for the first time that will be loaded or 1, and then our second Kazi loop will be loaded as a 1 2 3, then that is stop, then that our first one is the Aryan loop as a 2, and then our second Kazi will be loaded 1 2 3, and then 3. I hope friend it's very much clear to you. So that is the one of the nested loop. If you want to use one of the loop into the another loop area, then that will be called as a nested loop. And how that nested loop work, I hope it's very much clear to you. So that is pretty much a basic concept. I hope you get that concept, how that concept actually run. In our next video, I'm going to start a new session. It's about that string in JavaScript. As I told you friend, that is all that basic things, but it's very important. Make that sure you understand and remember and code with me, because friend, everything will be needed later. So if you understand that main core functionality, as I told you, JavaScript will be very easy to you friend. Trust